This is a getting work done kind of video. The PC building situation is pretty dire right now, so we're taking some time to actually do some set upgrades and maintenance, and we're focused on this area over here today. However, we've already gotten a good head start because Joe came over a few days ago and we disassembled a bunch of computers. So we have two overall goals today. One is to process some of the old builds that I have around. Whenever we do builds, I try to have a plan for them, a home for them, but that's not always the case. And over the past 2 to 3 years, several have collected here. So we need to disassemble those so we can recoup some of those parts, get a more proper inventory going on for what I actually have available for future potential builds, giveaways, that sort of thing. And then the second part of the plan is going to be to focus on this area of the garage, this corner over here, which is sort of the main shooting area that has the wraparound desk. So our goals here are to be able to use this front desk in sit-stand mode. It actually is a sit-stand desk, but because of the way the monitors are set up, I actually can't raise or lower it right now, or at least not easily. So we're going to reconfigure that, rewire some stuff, and we've got a dual monitor arm, actually an RGB dual monitor arm, because it's a Thermaltake monitor arm. We're going to put on the end there so I can use that a little bit more easily. I also have a small refrigerator freezer that we got when I was in an office briefly a few years back. I want to take that and actually plug it in because right now it's just sort of tucked away in the corner. We're going to position that over here. So we're going to take this back table, sort of shift it over to the side to make room for that. And then the last part is whenever we're shooting from this angle over here, I'm generally okay with how things look on this side, but the further to this way that we go, the less happy I am with how things look. I've got a folding table down here. It's cluttered with a bunch of stuff. So I have a replacement rolling table we're gonna put in place of that. It should work a little bit better for storage. It's got wheels so I can roll it away so I can clean under everything. But I guess that would possibly be like the third part of this video is I haven't really got back in underneath this area at all in the past couple years since we moved back from the office. So we're gonna be cleaning stuff out too. Okay, now we have a plan. We got some fantastic progress over in the corner here. We have the refrigerator put in place. We have shifted this table over a little bit. It is now overlapping, and we repositioned some of the legs underneath to give a little bit more support. So it'll give a little bit more height to whatever computer is back in the corner there. I've been working on some cable management, installing some of the classic IKEA Signa little cable management baskets back there. Got one more to put in the corner, but now we're shifting over to this area where Joe has freed up the folding table, and now we have this guy. So this came from Amazon, and as I mentioned, I believe in the intro, I specifically got it because although it is 3 tiers high, we're only going to be using the 2 middle tiers. And I'm trusting a video that I found of this to be accurate that we can do without that top tier, so it will still be able to sort of tuck under the table over here. Here's our next bit of product placement. Thermaltake's dual RGB monitor arm. I was about to order a dual arm off of Amazon, and I was like, I have friends at Thermaltake. So I looked it up, found it online, and then Thermaltake was like, hey, we got one, we can send it over to you. So cool. Support screens up to 35 inches, and we can have up to 44 pounds per screen as well. What I'm really hoping, and we can test this once we get it all set up, is that it's fairly easy to like reposition the monitors, to like push them back, push them forward or whatever, because I am gonna need to make sure that they're able to come out enough to clear this shelf. If the sit-stand desk is going from sit to stand position and the monitors are lifting up. I don't want them to conflict with that. But I have confirmed that the sit stand desk does move, as you can see. Moving along with our dual monitor mount installation, we have an Asus PG32U monitor here. Getting the stand off of this was actually harder than I was expecting. So shout out to Ghost57 on YouTube, who has a video with 17,000 views. Apparently 17,000 other people also had the same issue with this, but short answer is you need a spudger to be able to get in there and wedge out this outer plastic circle. That opens up your access to the 4 VESA mount screws. And now we have the mount for our Thermaltake stand, which would go right there. However, I was looking at this. It's got some contact points here. That's for the RGB on the stand that it comes with, which we don't need anymore. Those are fine since they're recessed. But there's also a fan in this monitor, and if we put this on top of that, it's gonna be completely blocking that. Whether it's an intake or an exhaust, I'm not really sure. So fortunately, I keep stand mounting hardware, like probably too much on hand. We have some of these little spacers. So I'm gonna put like 2 spacers behind each of those VESA mount screws, just to give a little bit more room there for airflow for when this monitor does need to cool itself off. And that bit.
Oh no.
We may or may not have lost a bit
never mind.
down in there.
That was good.
Got it.
Good job. You ate through that magnet thing.
Useful tools. Extendable thing with a magnet on the end.
Cool.
All right, so here's where we're at. It's not perfect, but with these types of videos, I always, like, my brain wants to get it to a point where I'm like, everything's done, everything's finished, but that's really hard to do, especially for cable management for a setup like mine. One thing that I learned long ago is that you can't really do things permanently. You can't wire up everything like super tight and zip tied down, because that will pretty much guarantee that you're gonna need to change something pretty quick. Let's just do a quick once around though. We finally got our refrigerator back operational. We even got a little bit of downtown brown in there that my wife picked up for me. Under desk cable management has mostly been handled by these IKEA Sigmas, because I had like 4 or 5 of them, which I'm actually really grateful for. I kept them for a long time and I was like, oh, that's why I kept them, was for this project, of course. Ethernet jack comes in over there, so I've got a switch right there so I can connect various computers to it. And I haven't done a whole lot of changes to the set as far as like stuff that's here. Like, that's still the same computer that was in the corner. I did wall mount a bunch of my Extra Life plaques for our team and for individual goals, because I've been hanging onto those for a while with the intent to do that. And then back here you can see our dual monitor arm connected to both of my 4K displays, which are kind of wonky right now because I have to push this one out if I actually want to do sit stand. And that was definitely one of the things that made cable management the most challenging, was making sure everything could be set up for sit stand and that no cables were yanking themselves out of their plugs or anything like that. I did do that with one plug, but I fixed it, everything was okay. So there you can see we're in stand mode, and I did presets here so I can quickly drop it back down to sit mode if I want to as well. And then from there I can just push this monitor back to where it's supposed to go, just like that. Oh, and I should probably turn my main PC back on as well. Gotta say, I'm really happy with our little rolling table because since we didn't put the top level on, it is actually short enough to tuck underneath the desk. I also appreciate that it has locking wheels, so I can lock it into position and it won't roll around if I push it or anything. And then this area back here was definitely the biggest challenge for cable management, mostly because I was trying to keep everything sit-stand compatible, so you gotta have a little bit of extra cable droopage for that in order to let things go up or down. But alright, it's not too bad. We've got our extension here for USB if I need to plug anything in without having to reach up to the wall-mounted computer. And there it is, the updated, renovated set, looking much cleaner, and I'd say the thing I'm most happy about is clearing the stuff out so I can actually get back at the floor to clean in the corners. Just generally getting stuff up off the floor so I can keep things a little bit cleaner in here without having to like move a bunch of stuff to clean and then move it back. Of course, that's like the nice looking area of the room. If I pan to the right here, you can see, we were organizing stuff on that table. We still have some more work to do there. But thank you guys for checking out part 1 of my spring cleaning series. I've got at least a couple more videos coming on this because, as you probably know, with the PC hardware shortage and prices being high, I'm looking for some alternative content, and I thought, why not just get some work done that I've really been putting off for way too long. Final honorable mentions for this video go out to my drill with the little bit on the end, which I've used to drill lots of little pilot holes for undermounting stuff. My IKEA countertop tables that I've had for a very long time but are still going strong, being able to reposition any of the legs on those wherever I needed to is really helpful, especially for over here in the corner where I overlap them. As far as cable management accessories, these little guys are definitely pretty high on my list because they got a little hole in the middle, so you can actually drill them into the bottom of a table or something like that, provided you're drilling into wood or something. Then you can use a twist tie or a Velcro strap in order to secure cables down, and with them being drilled into the wood, you know they're not going to peel off eventually with some adhesive that gets hot and cold over time. And of course, a final big shout out to my editor Joe, who came over on a couple different days to help out with this project and did a lot of moving of things and cleaning of things, and I'm hoping he can come back for the follow-up videos as well. But that's all for this one, you guys. If you enjoyed it, hit the thumbs up button. Check the description down below for links. I'll put some links to like these cable management tie downs and a few other useful things that I used for this project. You can also check out my store at paulshardware.net, where we're having a bit of a blowout sale, so that's also linked in the description too. Thank you guys so much one last time for watching this video. We'll see you all in the next one.